Basket here. Welcome back to TIS-100, a programming game. Before we jump into this one, I wanted to actually go back to this one. I thought about something I didn't hear that I could make less code. Okay, I was going to say, scared me there for a second. This here is, I just wanted to mod the color back and forth. But I don't do, this is way more complicated than I need. Lots more lines of code. So really all I need to do is just, the first thing I want to do is move a 3, right? I think, so move 3 left, and then just move 0 left, and then just loop that. And I think that'll work. Yeah, okay. So that's less code. We'll see how that compares. Oh wait, what happened? Oh, that's weird. I must be using up a lot of CPU. So now I actually have less code than SP, and then my cycles are actually much lower. Awesome, great. Okay, let's go back to the list and let's check my actual cycles on my computer and see what I'm running. Okay, I've closed a couple things. I think we're ready. Let's head into the histogram viewer, whatever that means. So 4 cells, 33 lines of code, a bunch of cycles. Okay. Interesting. So it's like okay. So read a value from in. That's weird. Read a value from in. Okay. Draw a line that many units tall, I'm assuming. Oh, I'm sorry. This continues on. That many units long to the right of the previous line. Okay, so this is, you know, a bunch of values and then draw on the lines. Got it. Okay. So we'll want to read in a value. So image is over here. Read in a value. Loop that many times. Oh, right. But when it draws, it usually goes this direction. So let's go back to the previous program real quick, where we did this one. So what we want to do, this stuff we have here is sort of what we want to do there. Although the Y values will be changing, which is what we're already doing. So I sort of want to start with this program. Can we copy this across programs? I don't think so. So we might have to do a couple copies, but I want to start with this and the other one. Well, I want to start with this. I don't think I actually need width or X. So let's try that. Let's go back to this. Come in here. We'll drop that in here. Drop that in there, and then we will, let's go back to the other list. We want to get the part 2 of the program. So we'll grab this, and then we'll go back. Okay, drop it in here. Okay, so we get in, this one here was sending in a couple different values. So we need to remove some of the code. This was the width, which is always going to be 1. So whatever is left, it's going to just be 1. So we'll just send 1 down in this case. So we don't need to worry about sending a thing to the left. To the right, that was the X value, which is going to be what's actually coming in here. No, I guess it's going to be an increment value. He did it in 4 cells. So I'll have to think about how I'll do that. But the X value will just be a value that slowly increases over time. So we'll come back to that. So the value that comes in, it will only a single value. So we move up to the right. So that was the X value. So we actually just want to move up into our hand. I guess we want to probably well, let's just say our back is the Y value, or the X value rather. Okay, so here we have, and this thing sends stuff down. So move up, right, move left, down. So here we have move up. So I take the thing and I save it. I don't need to save it. I don't think. And then I'm not grabbing anything else from up, so I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, and it's based on the bottom. So I'll need to change this code a little bit. So this is the first loop, the main loop. So I want to move. So this was getting the thing from the right, which is the X value. So this we don't need to worry about. I mean, we will want to do a swap, get the value from back, which is our X value. Send that down, and then swap back. So that's going to be sending X value. Next thing is the Y value. Right? Yeah, I guess this code here didn't really help me speed anything up because of the way it's working. What I don't know is how tall this whole thing is. So that's the first step, I guess, is I need to know how tall this is. I can't really tell. Let's suppose it's 30 by 30. It might be the case. I mean, none of these are filling all the way up. So let's see if we look at some of these values. 15s and so, okay, so possibly, what's this one? This 15 seems like it goes pretty high. So I mean, it might be 20 actually. 20 up, 30 across. So let's make everything again. Start over. So what we want to do is the start of the thing is get the value off the top, which is the it's going to be the height of the thing. Then we want to let's see. The first thing we want to send down is the X value. So that's our back value. So we want to swap, move what's in our hand down, swap back. So now we have what's in our hand is the height of the thing. And then we need to increment this. So this loop will move. So there's going to be 2 loops for each line, I think. Perhaps. Or just 1 loop. We'll try 1 loop for now. So if we take the thing in our hand, we want to move. So white is blue. Or blue. 3. Move 3 down. And then subtract 1 from our hand, which is the height of the thing. So when we send, I guess we need to send 30. That's complicated. The fact that it's not from the bottom up, bottom down is, oh wait. No, I guess that wouldn't, I mean, technically we could paint the whole thing. Paint the whole thing white if we wanted to, and then subtract, and then add black from the top down. And that might be easier, but probably take more cycles and code and stuff. But we could probably do that. So let's try and do it where we're going up. That's probably what they wanted us to do. And I might, for fun, try and make the other version. Maybe, probably not. So we suppose it's 20 high. So if the height is 8 in this case, we're going to want 20 minus 8. So as the sort of the starting point. I'm trying to ponder how this works. Let me... Alright, so let me just start putting stuff in, and then it might become more clear. So the first thing I want to do, I guess we can start here. What I'm trying to figure out is when this loop goes, how do I know when it's done? I have to subtract stuff all the time. But I don't have a handy Y value to hold on to. Or like, I only have 2 values, and so if I start subtracting stuff, then I lose things. And I'm trying to do it in 4 cells, which complicates things. So if I... Yeah, because if I subtract... I guess I could subtract, test it, and then add it back in. Yeah, okay. Okay, that might work. So, so we start out. We get the thing from the top. We swap it, so now we have our pocket in our hand, basically. You know, the back in our hand, which is the X value. So it's starting at 0, and it's going to move over. So we move that down. So the X value goes down first. The next is we swap the Y value. And so this is going to be... Oh, and really, I guess we're sending this with every single dot we draw. We have to send the X anyway. So we probably can move this down into the loop. So the first thing, so we come into this. Maybe we don't need this. We come into the loop. We grab the thing from the top. It's in our hand. We want to swap to be able to get the X. Put the X down. And then we swap back. So now we have the Y value in our hand. We want to move 3 down. I guess if we say we have the Y value in our hand. So if we subtract 20, so we're assuming that we're painting from let's see, if we want to start painting here. So maybe am I incrementing Y or am I subtracting Y? So I guess I want Y to be smaller and smaller. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take $20. So if I subtract 20, I'm going to have a negative number. So in this case, if it happens to be 0, would it ever be 0? If I subtract, so let's suppose in this case I have 8. 8 comes through. I've swapped, so I sent 0 down, so the X is 0. I swap back, I have 8 in my hand. If I subtract 20, then that's negative 12. So then I want to negate that. So 12 is potentially here, actually. So I want to send the 12 down. So send my hand down. So now I have the X value sent down. And then I want to send the color, 3. And then I'm actually done drawing my line. I want to subtract 1. So I guess we add 20 back in. We want to negate and then add 20. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that all in one line. Add 20 back in. So now it's back to where it was before. And then I want to subtract it. So now it's going to be 7. And then potentially I jump to loop. So this will continue on forever. So I think here we just want to move up, down. This will continue on forever. There's no exit point. So at some point, the Y, as it's going down and down and down, will end up being 0. So if we swap, and at this point, before we subtract, if this is equal to 0, so if our hand is equal to 0, so let's try and get a little bit more room possibly in this thing. So if our hand is 0, we're done. And we need to go back up to the top. But I also need to increment this at some point. And I would do that, I guess, at the very end. Would be, yeah, but it's in the back. It's not in my hand. So that complicates things. If only I had a little bit more space. So can we break this code up into something below? I could do this translation here, maybe. So this code would move up, down. So that's the X value. And then it's going to move, move up into my hand. So that's the actual Y value, the height. It's the height of the thing, I guess. It's whatever that second number is. And so that's what we're doing here. So if we this part here, I think. So this is saying, take the value I gave it, 8, comes down. I'm going to subtract 20, negate that, and then take that thing and pass it down. Then pass 3, and then pass this. And in this case, I don't need to worry about fixing it. Okay, so then up here, all I need to do is, because I didn't subtract stuff, I didn't negate stuff, I don't need to worry about all that stuff. So I just need to really send, I need to subtract 1 from it. But so first I need to move my hand, which is the height, or essentially the Y value, the thing related to the Y value. Move that down. I need to subtract 1 from it, and then jump back to the beginning of this loop. Where it does a swap, which is the X value. Okay, good. So then when it gets to here, when the thing related to the Y value is end, I need to swap, add 1, swap, and then loop back to the top. So this might work, maybe, possibly. Okay, so the X value, I guess we can watch this. So is, oh, that's interesting. It skipped 1. Whoa. What was that? That's freaky. Okay, so clearly something's weird. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, so it started painting sideways. That's interesting. What would cause that? Let's double check our logic. So we grab the thing from the top, 8. We have that in our hand. We do a swap, so now it's switched. Then we take the thing that was in back, which is the X value, and we send that downward. Here it gets it, and then just sends it down, and it goes all the way through. And then we swap back here. And then we look to see, is our thing related to the y value 0? If it is, we go to end, but we'll skip that for now. If it isn't, then we move the thing related to the y value down, which goes into here and does this logic. Then we subtract 1 from the y value, and we go back to the top of the loop, where we put the y value in here, bring the x value here. So that seems like that makes sense. Maybe it's the end. So end. So if the thing related to the y value is that, we get here, we do a swap so that the x value comes up. We add 1 to the x value. We swap it back down, because the next thing we do is we take the next thing, 10, off the stack, and we replace it here. So it seems like that makes sense. So this is, we send the x value down, and that goes right through. The y value comes in, so 8 comes in. I subtract 20, which is -12. Negate that, so 12. I move that value down. Then I move 3 for the color, -1 to say I'm done with the line. And then I'm done with the line. So then this thing should increment. So why isn't it working? Okay, well, let's, I guess, put a breakpoint here. I'm just curious the numbers that are coming through. So you already stopped? Or no, okay. All right, so we'll do, how do I tell what's happening when I hit 10? I guess I'm not storing it, so I don't really, okay, so as a test, we will change this to be move left into the thing, and then move our thing down, just so that we can actually see it. So I will put a breakpoint here instead. So we'll be able to see the number. Yeah, passing 0, that makes sense. So 0, 12, okay, that makes sense. And then 3, -1, okay. So, I mean, the first one makes sense. First one is, the first line went okay. So after this next dot, all right, then what comes through? 0. Okay, 18. Wait, okay, so -1. So this is the start. This is the x. So x didn't actually increment. X is still 0 at this point. Well, I guess we can see it. So if we grab the next thing, so it's here. Yeah, no, x is 1. So that seems like that's good. Let's get this thing back down to a -1. So the next number is the x. Yeah, that's weird. How did I get here? All right, maybe we'll break point somewhere else. Okay, so where do we want to do that? I guess we could just break point here and then just sort of step through the program, because we're not really sure what's failing. So we want to, we have an 8 coming in, we store the 8, then we swap the 2, we send 0 down, and then we want to swap it back. So now 8's back up top. It's not 0. So then we want to send 8 down into this, which is going to do some math. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. Well, that's fine, because the first one was okay. It may or may not be, I mean, it might be 1 short, but so now we have a 10. And so the 10, and we do have our x is at the right number for what we're expecting. So we have a 10, and we want to swap the two. We send the 1 down. We swap it back. It's not 0. So we send 10 down into here to do some logic. We have to wait till it's ready for me. Okay, so and now it got the wait, what? I feel like at this point, right now I'm sending down the Y-related value. I feel like it shouldn't be at this point. Seems like it's in the wrong spot. I mean, once this thing gets 2 values, it does its thing and goes back up at the top. But why move up to the thing? Move that down. Move that down. And inside the loop, there's 2 together all the time. Oh, the end here is a little interesting. Okay, let's kill that. Right. So this thing is what's weird. Is if once it actually gets to the end, it does send the X again, but then never sends the Y. So we need to potentially do this. So we'll see if this is right or not. But at least then it's going to jump down to the end. It's not going to send some of it down. So let's try that. We'll go ahead and just, well, I'll run it and then I'll jump to the next one. Okay, and I'll run it again. Okay, that's promising. So now we'll see if it's just too short. It's possible that I've miscounted stuff, but we'll see if this draws it out and how that compares. So far, so good. Okay, I'll just fast forward. Okay, so it is too short by 1 pixel. So that's related to the X value. So possibly if we were to make this be 19, that will either make it better or worse. I think better. No. I really can't tell. Let's try, maybe it's 18. Tall. Play. Go. Yay, yay. Woo. What? Did you stop? Or my program freak out? Oh, okay. For some reason my game is being a little sluggish. Okay, so with no graphs, they'll come in a second maybe. That's weird. There's no graphs. I had less lines of code, yes. Same number of things, and more cycles though. That's interesting. Okay, well, there we go. That is this puzzle. I hope you enjoyed watching. Next time we'll go into whatever these things are. And we might touch the sandboxes possibly. But I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time.